not good.
And I'm proud of the fact that I did it, and I'm proud of the work that everybody did on it. I just didn't know how to write a script. Like, every scene was either about what happened in the last scene or what's going to happen in the next scene. Just blatant exposition all over the place. This is how I feel. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. This is very clear.
No tension.
I am sad right now because of the thing that you just saw over there.
Right.
And it just wasn't enough to carry a movie.
Do you know how what you just said makes me feel?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no? Well, I'll tell you.
Let me tell you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was just terrible, and we got rejected from every festival, and I was just like, okay, well, that sucks. But that really helped me with, my third and fourth year films at School of the Arts, because I was like, oh, people are stressing out about a 3-day shoot, I can do this.
Right.
And, and then, obviously the summer going into senior year, we made a movie called Beach Week that we shot in Myrtle Beach. You were a part of. I assume you wanted to address that.
I do want to talk about it. I was going to ask if you wanted to talk about it.
I can talk about it. Yeah, it's.
Can I tell my very short version of what it was like to be a very small part in that story?
Yeah.
Okay, so my version of the story is, and I'll just lead it up to a point, and then you tell your story from the beginning. My version of the story is, all the other people who are in this are like my favorite actors at the school. So Then I look at the script, and the part that you'd written for me. The part you'd written for me, my friend Joseph.
Very flattering.
Was, well, and you know what? One might be like, well, maybe it's not an immediate reflection of how he sees you, Of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, his name was Rob. The character's name was the same as mine. And, but yeah, he was a creepo. He was 100% maybe the worst person I've ever played on screen.
Yeah.
So thanks. And, but the cool thing was you get to go with all your friends and all these cool actors that you like to the beach, and we're going to shoot this thing. And also, I'd do anything that you asked me to do. I told you that then. And so we go to the beach. We cram an unhealthy amount of people into a single hotel room.
Yeah.
And which is fine because we're kind of rotating in a way where people are always out shooting, then other people back at the hotel, and we're kind of switching out. The only thing is that the nights are a little bit intense because everybody's sleeping all over the place.
Yep.
Well, I don't come down there with another actor until later. You guys had been there already. So I didn't actually have to sleep there overnight. I just get there early. They're like, hey, we have a scene at the beach. I'm not shooting till tomorrow. So I'm just, like, getting super high in the hotel room and hanging out, playing guitar and stuff. We're all, like, dicking around.
Yeah.
And they're like, but one of our grips needs to play a cop in the scene. So will you come down and grip for us on set? And you knew I had lighting experience. I'm sure that's why someone asked me to do that. So I was like, everyone knew I used to be in DMP. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, just grab Rob. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. They're like, we don't have room in the car. But we're going to go drop everybody off. We'll get everything set up. We'll come back. We'll grab you. Then we'll bring you back to set. Then we'll shoot. And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
Everybody takes off. No one comes back to get me.
You're welcome.
It's a while. Oh, Joe. I think my mom at one point was asking for, like, an address to send someone a thank you card. Like, kind of sarcastically, but not really.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, I was so close. It was so close to me going. And so no one comes back to get me. So I'm hanging out on the balcony. We're all getting more intoxicated because everyone who's there is done for the day. So we're all hanging out. And then all of a sudden, we're on the balcony. I remember distinctly someone slides open the glass, like, door to the balcony and goes, everybody's in jail.
Yeah.
And we go, I think we were playing Wagon Wheel or some stupid shit.
Sure.
And it was like, Iraq meat. What?
Yep.
What do you mean everybody's in jail?
Yeah.
They were at the dock. The cops came. Everybody's in jail. Boom, chaos ensues. The evening goes crazy. But let's back up and tell me from your perspective how that all unfolded.
So the project was meant to be like a National Lampoon type thing. It's called Beach Week. It was that's very much a tradition, sort of on the East Coast. After you graduate, you go to the beach for a week. I hadn't really seen anything about that, so I wanted to do a straight up comedy. So yeah, I got a bunch of the friends that I made at the School of the Arts and other crew, and yeah, we did. We were there were like 15 of us in a 1-bedroom suite at a hotel, which is really a testament to the kind of people you meet at the School of the Arts who are just driven and want to create, which I love. Anyway,
You'd already established, that's kind of why I asked the other story first, because you had established that you go off in the summer and you make stuff.
Yeah.
So you had people that were...
yeah, there was a track record, you
Right.
know, and even though the first movie wasn't great, I think people were just impressed that I did it.
Yeah, that you spent your time off working, too.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so we didn't have any permits. This is a run and gun thing. I put together like $5,000 to do it.
Were you, like, cross-shooting it, like, reality style, like mockumentary?
Yeah, it was kind of, you know.
So that is a very run-and-gun style
Yeah.
for those listening. Like, when you do shoot that, it's not so much of, like, you're booking a location for long ends and doing these big setups with lights and stuff like that.
No.
So that's not how we were shooting the
This
project.
was point and shoot.
Exactly.
I mean, we just because we didn't have permits.
Right.
I didn't want to deal with that. I was lazy, which was another demise. I just wanted to focus on the creating, you
Right.
know. And I was like, whatever. It's Myrtle Beach. It's kind of the Wild West.
And you're in this one.
And I'm in this one, yeah, playing Joe. You know, I'm fascinated by just playing the idiot version of myself, which
Right.
I've done many times over. But so the scene in question, we were shooting. There was a scene. We were shooting under a pier, and I don't know how in depth I should go with what happens in the scene, or
I wouldn't necessarily use anyone's name,
No,
but I
certainly
would
not.
say,
Yeah.
I would say for sure you can explain, because here's the only redemptive part of the whole crazy thing,
Yeah.
is that I think up to the moment where you did legitimately all get arrested,
yeah,
the story's hilarious.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the story in question is perfect for your other podcast.
Yes.
It is like kind of ideally, because it is tragic how it all kind of worked out, and and we'll get there in a second, but leading up to it, I mean, you can say as much as you'd like, but the circumstances of what was the misunderstanding is almost out of a sitcom.
Yes, it is. It was, yeah, it's classic sitcom. Yeah, so in the scene, my character has fallen for a deaf young woman, and we're under a pier, and she is...
She's offered you oral pleasure.
yes. Ooh, well put. Yeah. And my character's very excited about this.
He's accepted.
It's accepted. And in the scene, the grip that you mentioned, playing a cop is like, freeze, stop what you're doing.
In the scene.
Yes. In the scene. In this fictional, scripted scene. The young woman does not stop because her back is to the officer, and her being deaf, she continues her job, or the task.
So the only one aware that the cops are trying to interrupt the oral pleasure
Yes.
is your
My character. And I am pleading with the cop, please, this is the first time this has ever happened in my life. Just give me like 30 more seconds. It's not going to take long. You can watch if you want to. You know, whatever. We do 2 takes, and we're getting ready to go. And
You wrap the scene.
Yeah, we wrap the scene. And then we were shooting under a pier, and then a bunch of like drunk rednecks come down and surround us, and are like, y'all are shooting a porno. And we were not. And they were all pretty intoxicated. So I was just like, okay, well. And to be clear, when we were shooting the scene, there was no nudity. It was all simulation.
Absolutely. You had boxers on, all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Everyone's,
So I was just like, okay, well, we'll be the professional, sober people that we are right now. It was also midnight on a Tuesday that we did this. And so they were like, we're calling the cops, and we should have just ran. This was me being naive, but also not wanting to appear guilty, because I didn't think we did anything.
And this is what I think is so great and makes it a great story. Not just like, oh, fun, haha, that was a crazy thing that happened. But it's a great story, like filmmaking-wise, for a bunch of reasons. Obviously, get your permits.
Yes.
Make sure
God,
your
yes.
set is locked off. There's a bunch of different little obvious shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's an even more important thing at play here that I really love, which is like you didn't know the laws in the state that you were in, because
Yeah.
as we found out the next morning at the bail hearing,
Yes.
you were in fact breaking the law, which
Yes.
is crazy.
Yeah.
We never. So Continue the story. The rednecks show up. You're making a porno.
They call the cops.